are you doing? Hello everyone, it's been I think over a week since my last video, because it's been an incredibly busy week. I've been on late shifts all week and they've been absolutely full on, and my last shift was Thursday night. I got home about 11:30, nearly 12 o'clock, and I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. Yesterday I didn't really do anything at home, I had the day off, and I went out for lunch with my son, which was really nice. But in the afternoon we had the most horrendous rainstorm. It was just torrential, and quite late in the afternoon I got a phone call from a friend who lives in the same village as me, quite upset because she's got a beautiful tree. I'm not entirely sure what it is. It looked like an ash, but I don't think it is, because it had got thorns on the branches. But initially thought it had been hit by lightning, because I heard a massive bang, and one of the main boughs had just fallen and completely blocked the road. So I went over there, and my eldest boy's a tree surgeon, so I managed to get hold of him and he came out, plus lots of neighbours. It was a real community effort. We cleared the road, and then my boy got all these ropes and harnesses on and went up the tree and gradually cut it down to make it safe. So that was yesterday. Today it's really grey, it's blowing quite a lot. I think we're going to have more rain, but I thought I'd just potter around the garden, just do a bit of tidying up. And I think because we've had so much rain, there's weeds everywhere. They're only like little tiny seedlings, but they're popping up everywhere, so I'm going to try and crack on and clear them. And something else I'll show you in a bit is one of the drawbacks of the bird feeders is, although the birds do eat the seed, they also spill a lot of it. And in the wet weather that we've had, everything's been germinating, so I've got quite a large patch under the main feeder which is just growing. I think it's wheat, to be honest. I think it looks like wheat grass, and I think if I don't get on top of that, I'm going to end up with a garden full of wheat, like a field of corn or whatever it is, rather than a kitchen garden. So I need to clear that, so I'll show you that in a minute. And what else? Oh, also in this really heavy rain, I came home from, I think it was Wednesday night, to discover that half of my cosmos, which has been absolutely glorious this late summer, snapped in half and lain across one of the beds. So I've lost a good half of that, which is a real shame because it was becoming quite a feature in the garden. But I guess it's coming to the end of the season anyway, so it's to be expected. So I've got lots of clearing up to do, and before it rains I'm going to crack on, so I'll talk to you in a bit. This is one of the trays on the bird feeder that I was talking about, and it's mostly the collared doves and the pigeons that sit on there because they can't manage the hanging feeders, so they sit on there. But they're quite big birds, and when they peck at the seed they flick it everywhere, and the result of that, unfortunately, is this. And because we've had so much rain, everything that's been spilt has germinated. You can see all the shucks there. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to clear all this up. job has taken me over an hour to do, because it was like matted pulp and suet all caked together underneath and in the pebbles, so I literally have to lift it. I've lifted everything up and washed it. When I say washed it, I put it in a bucket with water and let all the debris float to the top and keep skimming it off, and then keep washing the stones until they're clean and then putting them back, so that looks a lot better. I've had to run back into the summer house because it's been absolutely tipping down with rain again. Everything is sodden and I can't do any gardening at the moment. I don't want to step on the soil because it'll compact it. And everything you touch, everything you brush past is absolutely soaked. So I end up getting soaked. Paddy's given up and gone indoors. The birds are trying to get to the feeders, but everything is just soaking wet at the moment. So the only thing I can do is drink my coffee and have a quick look around the garden from where I'm sitting and plan the next few weeks. So one of the things I would really like to do is get my onions in, because I like to overwinter the onions. It's so much better for me because I have limited space. It means that by about middle to late May I'm able to harvest them, which frees up the garden for lots of other summer planting. So that's one of the jobs I'd like to do in the next couple of weeks. Plant my garlic as well, and start my broad beans off, because again I like to overwinter those too. So the issue I've got now is where I'm going to put everything. I've got a rough idea, but there's no space really at the moment. So one of the things I will be doing is taking some of my bean poles down. Now, the French climbing beans that I grew for the first time this year have been absolutely wonderful. I've loved them and I'll definitely grow them again next year, but they've been dying back for some weeks now and they're not really been producing any new beans, so they can come out. And I have saved some seeds, so I will use that next year. The Belotti beans, they're starting to die back, but the beans that are hanging at the moment haven't really dried properly, so I shall leave them on the plants to completely dry before I bring them in. Just looking around, the runner beans and the cobra, well, they're doing better now than they did in most of the summer. I mean, they've been getting better throughout September, but they're still covered in flowers. They're still producing on a daily basis, and I think a lot of that now I will be putting in the freezer for the winter. So, and that won't make much difference to the space that I need in the garden, because where the runner beans and the climbing beans are, they're over a path. so they can stay there quite happily. I might lift the celeriac, that will give me a bit more space, and some of the celeriac bulbs have actually got quite big now, so I might be able to get some of those up. And another job I need to do as well is the cauliflowers that I planted back in September, well, I think it was late August. They're actually outgrowing the little polytunnel that I've got, covering them with the Enviromesh to protect them from the butterflies and the slugs, and I think it's cabbage fly as well. They're getting quite big now, so I'm going to have to rethink how I'm going to protect those for the rest of the winter months. So there is a lot to do, but I just can't do it at the moment because of the weather. So I'm just going to sit back and watch the birds and read a magazine or two. I've got quite a lot of gardening books in here as well, so I might see if I can get some inspiration, and I will speak to you soon.